Pushing Back the Shadows, support and awareness for mental health. Hello and welcome to episode 53 of the Pushing Back the Shadows podcast. My name's Alex and I'm the founder of Pushing Back the Shadows. So today's topic, I kind of feel the need to rehash. It's not really a rehash, but go over something that I've already talked about. Now, I know there's the saying about flogging a dead horse and so on, but this is one topic that I feel doesn't get quite enough coverage. Yeah, we'll go with coverage. You see, one of the things that a lot of people struggle with is this concept of relapse. Yeah? Do you find that you struggle with relapse? Perhaps you have a bad day. Yeah? A bad day where, truth be told, you have absolutely no idea what's happened, no idea why you're having the bad day, no idea, kind of what's caused it or what you can do to stop it. It's just one of those bad days. And the problem comes when you think that you failed. Now, believe me, this is something that I've done quite a bit. You get to that bad day and you think, oh no, what have I done? What have I done? I failed. I've got it wrong. I've got it so wrong, so unbelievably wrong. I'm a failure. This should never have happened. And alright, do you know what? Yeah, you're right. Maybe it shouldn't have happened. Maybe we should have been stronger, better, more prepared. I don't know. But the point is that for whatever reason, we've gone backwards. And we have that tendency to blame ourselves for every little thing that goes wrong, don't we? We get to that stage where anything and everything becomes our fault. And it doesn't matter whether it's something that's beyond our control or not, we tend to blame ourselves for it. But that's kind of by the by. We control what we can control, nothing more and nothing less. But how do we process this idea of the relapse? This going backwards, this going back to maybe the same old patterns or same old feelings, something that would suggest that we're not actually getting as better as we might like to think. You with me so far? I'm sure if I asked, you could tell me situations that you've been in where you feel like you have relapsed. And as I mentioned earlier, you don't know how to process it, how to deal with it, what's caused it. You don't have those answers. But dealing with it is the tricky part. I'll mention a phrase that you're probably all familiar with. I should be better by now. I should be able to cope with this. And see, this is one of the joys of relapse. All the shoulds, shoulda, woulda, coulda comes out, doesn't it? Because you sit there and you say, oh, well, I should be able to cope. I should be much better. I should. And yet, we still find ourselves in this relapse. So here are a couple of hard-hitting truths. You are not a failure. You are not a letdown. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You have nothing to apologise for. You are simply going through the roller coaster that is mental health. Because if we're being perfectly honest, okay, we have those ups and downs. With some conditions, it's almost a guarantee. Things like borderline personality disorder and bipolar, you have those ups, you have those downs. But with other conditions, depression, anxiety, there is that tendency to think we should be better, we should be able to cope with it, we should. And yet, we're dealing with this day in, day out. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no rule book for mental health conditions, is there? There's nothing that says after an allotted time you should be able to cope, after an allotted time you should be able to do X, Y, Z, after an allotted time you should. There isn't such a thing, is there? Because really, who is to say how fast our recovery should be? Who is to say that we should never have a relapse? Who is to say that we can't go back a step? Who's to say? Our mental health conditions are exactly that, our mental health conditions. And we take a few steps forward, we take a few steps back. It's how it works. And that's okay. And maybe turn it on its head. Think of it this way. Those few steps back allow you to say, alright, do you know what? I've had those few steps forward. I have had those few good days. And okay, at the time that might seem like small comfort, but the bad days help us to notice those good days in there. Now, yeah, you're going to feel like you should be able to cope better, but really, you are coping to the best of your ability. There's nothing to say you should be doing it any differently. Okay, you might have gone back into binge eating, self-harm. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any other kind of coping mechanisms that are perhaps not the best, but really that's how you're coping. And shall I tell you something? While we'd all agree there are good coping mechanisms and there are, should we say, not so good coping mechanisms, I think we'd all agree that you're still coping. You're still here. You're still fighting. And if that's not doing well, then I don't know what is. You are still making it through. You're getting up in the morning. You're going through your, we'll say, day to day, because I don't know what your day entails. Maybe you work, maybe you don't, maybe you do something else. I don't know. But you're going through your day-to-day life, coping with your mental health condition. Yeah, you go back a few steps. Yeah, some of the coping mechanisms might not be the best or the healthiest, but you are coping. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I mean, sure, if we can get you away from the not so healthy coping mechanisms, brilliant. But at the end of the day, you are coping in the way that you know how. So, when you take those few steps back, because, yeah, I'm going to say when and not if, because a lot of the time, relapse is a given, not a possibility. But remember these two very important things. Number one, a relapse is proof that you are getting better. It is proof that you have your good days, because you think about it, if you weren't having good days, how can you relapse? And number two, just because your brain is telling you that you should be better, you should be able to cope, you should be doing all of these wonderful things that, everybody else seems to be doing, I don't know, unicorns, butterflies, rainbows, sparkles. Just because your brain's telling you that does not make it true. Your recovery journey is yours. And hey, if every 3 steps you go back to, you're still taking those 3 steps. And it doesn't matter whether it's every 2 steps, every 3, every 4, every 20 steps you take back to. You are still fighting. And I'm proud of you for that. Because mental illness is horrible to go through. Horrible. And for you to get up every day and still fight, that takes some serious strength. So, whether you have a good day today, or a bad day, or a kind of somewhere in the middle day, remember that you've got this. You can do this. I believe you can do this. So you take care, and you keep fighting. Because I promise you, you will win. That's all from me, guys. You take care. You have a very, very good week. And I shall catch you next week on the Pushing Back the Shadows podcast. You've been listening to Pushing Back the Shadows. To find out more, head over to pushingbacktheshadows.com and hit subscribe to get all of our latest updates straight to your inbox. Alternatively, connect with us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Alex Davis PBTS, or you can visit us on Twitter at Alex Davis PBTS. Enable Pushing Back the Shadows to continue supporting people in the mental health community, their friends and their family. By pledging just $1 a month, you could help us to continue supporting people with depression, with anxiety, with bipolar and other mental illnesses. You can also unlock exclusive rewards, behind the scenes, sneak previews of upcoming posts and much, much more. So head over to www.patreon.com/Alex Davis PBTS to find out more.